These are all wheat pennies. Or at least I'm pretty sure they are. What's up, it's Bobby. I went to pick up 2 boxes of pennies today. I didn't get boxes, I just got a whole bunch of hand-rolled pennies, and turns out 19 out of the 100 are what I believe straight wheat pennies. I already opened one earlier and posted it on Instagram that it was just straight wheat pennies, even in 1916. So this is them. I'm gonna get into them and see what's in them. Let's go. Alright, and just like the first roll, these were all wheat pennies. There was 17 from the 50s, 31 from the 40s, and 2 from the 30s. There's a 1938 and a 1930. So I'm pretty sure all these are wheat pennies, and I'm gonna open them all up and I'll show you if it's something really old. If it's just 40s and 50s, I'm just gonna stack them, but anything older than that I'll bring up. So let's go. Alright, I'm on the second roll out of 18, and there's a 30s wheatie, 1938. Here we go. That's 3 from the 30s so far. Again, these were just picked up at my bank, just for face value, so that's a score. So let's keep going, see what we get. Towards the back of that same roll, there's another 30s here, another 1938. All pretty beat up, but that's cool. Alright, I'm just picking up the third roll and see if I can get this. That's a 1919 ender. So let's get into this roll and see what else is in it. Here's the 1919 ender. It's pretty slick, but it's the oldest one so far. That's cool. Oh boy, the very next roll. This is epic. This chipped up 1936. Something happened to it, but that's still pretty cool. It's the 30s. But look what we have here. See if I can get it on that. A 1909. There's no mint mark on it. It's not a S or VDB or anything, but it is a 1909. So that's always cool to find. Definitely the oldest one now, so hopefully maybe we can even find an Indian head. Who knows? So let's keep going. Alright, roll 4, and let's just get into it. 1920. So we got a 100-year-old penny found. And also that means one from every decade. 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, teens, and a 1909. So I'm pretty sure this is a unsearched wheat pennies, maybe? Possibly? So let's just keep going. In that same roll, got another 20s here. 1925. Pretty slick, but 95 years old. A couple of cents later, 1935. There, so it's another 30s. And just like that, we got another oldie. The very next roll, a 1910. Again, it's pretty slick and it's worn. A 110-year-old penny found. At this point, I should almost keep the camera going because only a few cents later, look at that. A 1918 and a 1934. $1934. Incredible. It's insane. Same roll. Another 1920. Pretty beat up, but it's a 1920. A few cents later, 1926. 1926. Same roll towards the end. That's a 1936 and a 1918. Yep, that's a 36. And yep, 1918S. Pretty beat up, but it's a 1918. And wouldn't you know it, the end of that roll, that would have been the ender, so it would have been the reverse facing us. That's a 1920 and a 1919. Last two in the roll. This is incredible. This is just insane. Into the next roll. 1937. And quite a lot of 30s here. In roll 6, and got two more oldies next to each other. I believe that's a 34 and a 28. 1934 and 1928. Here's a 34. Yep, 1928. The same roll, yet again. Almost facing, or not almost facing, almost touching each other. That's a 1935 and a 1926. Almost right next to each other. Yep, 1935. That's a 41. And that's a 1926. Let's keep going. Towards the back of roll 7. There's a last year of the 30s, a 1939. Not in terrible shape, but it is still trashed. So, well, I just did roll 8, and it was a dandy. There was a lot of oldies in that one. That's a 1917, two 1919s, a 1926, a 1930. 1927, that should have been over right here, but 1927, two 1936s, a 1938, and a 1939. All in one roll. And just about halfway done only, and there's a lot of oldies here, so hopefully we can find maybe an Indian, possibly. So let's keep going. Oh man, same thing with the next roll. I couldn't make this up if I tried. All of these are teens, 20s, and 30s found in that wheat roll. This is just getting insane. Like, I've never seen anything like this before. I've seen a lot of 40s and 50s wheats, but seeing all these 30s, 20s, and teens, it's pretty rare. But in just one roll, there was one 1939, three 1937s, two 1936s, four 1935s, four 1934s, one 1929, one 1928, a 1926, two 1920s, two 1919s, one 1914, two 1913s, a 1912, and the oldest one in that roll was a 1911. It's just insane. All these are pretty slick, but they're all over 100 years old. So, never seen anything quite like this so far. So, and we're only halfway done. So I'm going to sort these ones out and get going with the next roll. Alright, roll 10 just had three from the 30s here. Two 1939s and a 1937. So I'm going to put those up and keep it going. Roll 11 had a couple of goodies, and all 10 years apart. A 1939, a 1929, and a 1919. Well, roll 12 had a couple of beauties in there. Not beauties, but older. 1937, 1921, a 1919, a 1917, and a really, really, really worn 1912. I'm done with roll 13, and it just had a whole bunch of 30s here. 1934, 35, 36, 37, 38, and two 1939s. So I'm going to add them up and get to the next roll. Again, with roll 14, a lot of goodies here. Two 1938s, a 37, a 1929, a 1923, a 1919, and another 1911. I'm going to add them to the pile and keep going. Same with roll 15, a lot of goodies here. A 37, 36, 35, a 1919, and a 1915. All these teens are pretty slick and worn, but they're also over 100 years old, so that's cool. Roll 16 did good as well. Whole bunch of oldies here. 1939, 1937, two 1936s, a 1935, a 34, a 1929, 1928, 1920, and a nicer 1912. It has still some nice detail on it for being 108 years old. So I'm going to add these to the pile, and got 2 rolls left. Same with roll 17. Got a lot of oldies here. What was it? 6 from the 30s, a 1925, 1919, 1918, and a 1916. So just the last roll to go. Alright, the last roll had a little bit of goodies as well. 39, 37, two 36s, a 35, a 1926, and a 1920. So I'm gonna add these all up total and let you know how many I have. Well, all of them are done, and this is what I came up with. I added the extra wheats that I found from the regular rolls I hunted. There was like 10 or 11, so I added those in with the original roll I opened. So really there was 19 rolls of wheat cents, and I opened one earlier, so I added all that in here and I ended up with a total of 961 wheat pennies out of 100 rolls searched. Definitely a new record. I don't think I'll be breaking anytime soon, but breaking it down, there's 396 from the 50s. These are all the 40s and 50s here. But yeah, 396 from the 50s, 437 from the 40s. That's them right there. Then here's the 30s. There was 75 from the 30s. Here's the 20s. There was 25 of them. And then this stack and all these are teens. And this one's a 1909. And then ended up with a 1910, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So literally found every year in the teens. And that's all the extra teens. So 961 wheats. I'd say that was a pretty solid hunt for 100 rolls. So what a great way to start hunting again after being off for a couple months, is running into a collection dump. Doesn't get any better than that. So that's going to be it for this one. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next hunt.